fun begins.
How's it going?
Hello.
Well,
Greetings, young Jedi.
hello there.
What's up, everyone? Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and today we are taking a look at the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron Kryze Clan Gauntlet Rare, 1 of 15,000. This is from the new Series 10, and I found this on a recent Hybrids Weekend Toy Hunt episode at a Meijer in Northeast Ohio. I believe the town was Alliance. And I found two on the shelf. I was looking for something totally else, and I will try to remember to throw the clip in here because I was looking for a figure, the pegs were empty, and I just happened to look down and go, oh, like, you know, because I saw that rare sticker. Something about that rare sticker makes the brain go a little bit smooth. Glide. Oh, wait. What? So, as mentioned, these are 1 of 15,000, so it's not the smallest quantity of rare ever, which might be beneficial because this is another repaint of the inaccurately scaled Mando Gauntlet. But while it's frustrating that it is incredibly underscale, it is hard to pass on something with that sticker, so I grabbed it. These were seen, as indicated in the top right there, on Star Wars Rebels, a show that I hold very near and dear to my heart. That also helped incentivize the pickup for me. And this is from the Season 4 opener, where Sabine and the gang get to meet Bo-Katan, and ultimately decide that Bo-Katan is the person that should have ownership of the Darksaber, and hand it over to her without any trial by combat. It all works out for Mandalore in the end, don't worry. But anyway, let's get into the review and see what's going on here. Here we have the ship in the package, and we're going to take a good quick little look at it. This is the standard Micro Galaxy packaging, where it is a very deep bubble on a card back. So, see, nice and deep. You got the ship entirely encased in there. Card back is blue and black with your Star Wars logo, Star Wars Rebels, and then Series 10 in multiple languages. I seem to have gotten an international one here. Star Wars logo, you see the ship captured in the bubble very nicely. You see the feature of the character going into the cockpit. You see the character there, the Kryze Warrior, Micro Galaxy Squadron, Kryze Clan Gauntlet, number 0219, a bunch of legal hoopla, your sticker also in the international, 1 of de rare, 15,000. Got your Star Wars logo again, barcode and legal hoopla underneath of that, and around back you have a hologram of the ship, a trading card that you can pull out if you you can cut out if you care to collect those. I don't really know too many people that do, but it's a feature. And then you see some of the features of the ship, the motions that it can do and such. And then you see that it is one of many others in the wave. The standard wave, if you find the normal case assortment, it's going to have 2 Magna Guard fighters, a Andor TIE Avenger, and then a repack of Luke's X-Wing from Wave 1. But these seem to replace the Magna Guard fighters, and then there's also an option to get 2 of the Cad Bane and Xanu Brood Magna Guard fighter repaints, which are really cool. Disney, Star Wars, Micro Galaxy, Jazzwares, bunch of hoopla underneath of there. Nothing to write home about. Let's open it up and take a look at it. So here we have the Kryze Clan Gauntlet stood up on its engines because it just visually looks big when I do that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the figure that it comes with, because in this line, I do consider the figures to be accessories. I think that you should always have the right amount of figures for a thing. And that's my backup line from people are like, then the line's not about the figures, but like, if it has 2 cockpits, it needs 2 figures. So this guy's really cool. He's basically just like a Death Watch type of Mandalorian, except he is Clan Kryze. You actually see some very finely detailed Clan Kryze logos on his shoulder pads, which look very good. I gotta say, this figure itself, just generally speaking, even though he's a bit of a no-name kind of guy, it's just a very nice looking figure. I mean, there's really nothing bad to say. He features a jetpack. I mean, this is very highly detailed. If they can do this in the standard line, kind of makes me ponder why they say the figures get the premium detail, you know, on like the Jazzwares Vault Special Edition sets. Because like, this is pretty good. Not going to lie. This guy looks excellent. He features the standard swing him forward, linked together arms. Same with the hips. They can go forward together, and he can go into a seating pose. And then something that's frustrating, the box shows you it works out. The ship features an opening cockpit. For me, I mostly just put the figures in the cockpit and leave them in there forever. The thing is when you put him in the cockpit, and mind you, the ship was designed with Mandalorians in mind, he fits in there. and then it won't close because it's hitting on his head, because his head is too far forward because his jetpack's behind him. And the jetpack is removable, but I mean, look at that team. There, it's gone forever. I'm joking. It's sitting on the table. But it's just such a losable accessory. Why would you want me to take it off? So now, you get the guy in the seat all the way, and the cockpit does close. He's got all that open space in his lap, so for storage, the jetpack's going to make its way into the cockpit anyway. But it's just like, man, why was this not designed to fit a character wearing their jetpack? Very frustrating there. But looking at the ship, very visually striking. Incredibly underscaled. Let's just get that out of the way now. This is the troop carrier that when it's flying has like the opening bays where these doors here will open and like a dozen Mandos can jump out and jetpack down into the fight. It's like a gunship basically. And they decided to make it a one-man starfighter size of thing. This vehicle should be like in that $30, $25, $30 packaging that they had stuff like the Imperial Shuttle, the Rebel U-Wing, things that are just a bit bigger. I don't need it to be like 1-to-1 scale, but I need it to be like a foot long, or slightly longer, just so it has the room to have those opening doors. Remember, it would be big flat wings making up the majority of the bulk, like that's not like space I would need, to be open or anything. It wouldn't be like this ginormous, expense, but I need it to do the troop carrying thing, otherwise it's just not doing the thing I need it to be doing. But for what it is very visually striking. It is very eye-catching. That blue is very vibrant. I love all that. And then it has some white panels and some black panels, and there's a subtle wash over everything, which just accentuates some of the stuff that Jazzwares does best. There are little vents and panel lines in there, and all sorts of details around the engines, and just all sorts of super, super cool stuff going on in here sculpt-wise, which makes me feel bad for wanting to like nitpick the scale so bad. I want this nice thing to cost twice as much and be twice as big, and it's just not. So it's just, it needs to be said because it's not right. But looking at it, they give you some yellow paint on the thrusters, which is nice. This is basically like the flight mode, or perhaps it's a little bit clicky. Is this the flight mode? This might actually be the flight mode, while in space at least. But the Mando fighters feature a lot of moving parts, so I've demonstrated some of them. But for it to be in a landed gear, or in a landed position, you need, see, they click into place. You need to swing these wings all the way up, and then there is a front lowering leg, and that's how they park, when they're landed. And then when they take off, they lift up, they fold the leg in, and then they swing the wings back down, and then the bodies rotate. So I guess it has to rotate that 90 degrees, and then this is the flight mode. Or maybe the body just rotates as needed, like a B-wing. That's possible too, I suppose. But it's just nice to have all the different functions and transformations going on here. And it is visually striking. Like I said, the blue looks very nice. And just to compare, I'm going to put it in the landing mode and set it down. This is our fourth one we've ever gotten, although I never got the first two. Wave 2, we got Bo-Katan's, and then I think Wave 6 or so, we got an Armada one, which touched up the paint on it. And then I think it was Wave 7 featured the chase of Darth Maul's Night Brother one. So we got a red one, we got a blue one, we got like 2 silver ones from the Bo-Katan ones. I'm going to be honest, I really don't know how many other variants of this thing they can possibly make. I kind of feel like this one from Rebels is like a bit of a reach, and like they finally hit like the bottom of the barrel. So maybe we'll get a hologram one next. Woo, right? But yeah, that's something they like to do sometimes too. But yeah, otherwise, I gotta say, I mean, for what it needs to be, it looks good. It just doesn't scale right, and I find that frustrating. just to give you a little sense of scale, here it is next to a couple other vehicles, and I generally feel like the other three vehicles scale fairly well together, and it just goes to show how small the troop carrier blue one needs to be. Because, yeah, they made it as a one-man fighter, and it needs to carry like 20, and it just doesn't do that. So it's a little frustrating, but for what it's worth, also, if they made it a 20-trooper carrier, they'd only give you like 2 figures, so that'd be frustrating too, right? So end of the day, what do I think of the Kryze fighter? You know, it's cool, right? I mean, it looks nice. It's that same old frustration of this sculpt. This sculpt needs to be retired, and it needs to be redone in the correct scale. They've appeared in The Mandalorian at this point, and they were in several Clone Wars episodes, and I just want it to be done right. You know, I would rather it be done right or not be done again at all. I feel like they've also milked the mold for what it's worth. You know, the Darth Maul one was cool. This one, I think it's cool. I don't think this one's for everyone. This one's starting to get into that deep cut realm. And I really hope that Jazzwares doesn't try to go for like a 5th go at it and make it like the hologram one or something, because that will feel like a cash grab, and the hologram ships have just not caught my attention yet. So no real love for the hologram ships. And that's just where I see them going from here, because like, what other variants are there? But that's all I really got to say about it. You know, I'm happy that I found it. It's always cool finding a chase, finding a rare. And you know, I'll pick it up because of that sticker on the box. I'm not ashamed of it. I see that sticker, the brain smooths a little bit, and it's just what it is. But I definitely want to see something a little more quality from a Mandalorian troop drop carrier next time. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. It means a lot that you did. I know I don't do a ton of Micro Galaxy on the channel, but hopefully it is still interesting when it happens every now and then. I'm not exclusively a Black Series guy. It's just 99% of what I do. So that's all. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, and have a good one. Bye.